Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the dark, creepy secrets and things you might not have known about the DeSanta or Townley family. So that's Michael, Amanda, Jimmy, and Tracy. So we've got a lot to talk about today, so let's not waste any more time, and let's get it started. So I've looked at a bunch of other aspects of the DeSanta or Townley family, like photos inside their house and what that could mean for their past. Today, everything I'm going to talk about, I really haven't touched on in previous videos. So to me, this is all been new, and it should be new to you as well. So we'll start with the oldest member of the DeSanta family, and that's Michael. And ironically enough, we don't actually know the age of Michael. He's either 45 or 48, which would put him as the oldest protagonist in the GTA series, but that's not the idea here. No one knows how old he is, and it's really confusing. So on Michael's tombstone in North Yankton, it states that he was born in the year 1965, which would make him 48 in the year 2013. However, in the mission Dead Man Walking, one of the coroners described him in his late 40s, and Michael refers to himself as the last of the baby boomers, which would back him up to a birth year of 1965. However, Trevor, Lester, and his son Jimmy all state that Michael is 45 years old, meaning that he would be born in 1968. So basically, we don't know whether Michael is 45 or whether he's 48 years old. Now, that's obviously not going to have a huge impact on the gameplay because it's not like a difference of 10 or 15 years, it's only 3. But nonetheless, I still think it's interesting that no one actually knows how old Michael is. So I thought that was very interesting right there. Also, Michael's special ability might be a reference to a bunch of other Rockstar games. So the first of which is to Max Payne. The character in that game has an ability called Bullet Time that actually allows him to slow down time. Same with Michael's ability, could be from Red Dead Redemption. John Marston has a feature called Deadeye, and then there are adrenaline pills in some of the 3D universe games that give the character the same ability. So Michael's special ability was pretty much just a combination of Max Payne, Red Dead Redemption, and some features from the 3D universe games. Let's talk about some interesting facts regarding the voice actor of Michael, Ned Luke. So when someone talks to Michael on his right side, he'll shift his body right towards that person. This is because in real life, Ned Luke, Michael's voice actor and motion capture actor, is deaf in real life in his right ear. So that means that he was actually playing to the part, trying to hear as if Michael would hear. I just think that's so cool how Ned Luke, because he's deaf in his right ear, had to compensate for that, and thus we see the same thing in Michael. I thought that was pretty cool right there. Also, when walking, Michael is slightly slower than Franklin or Trevor. Now, this might be due to him being retired and not as active as he used to be, but also, did you know that Ned Luke even put on 25 pounds to replicate this? So when Ned Luke got the job for Michael, he actually gained weight in order to get more into part. I think that is pretty awesome. Another interesting thing about Michael is that he sleeps the shortest amount of time of all 3 characters. So when saving the game, Michael skips 6 hours ahead, which means he sleeps for 6 hours. Franklin sleeps 8, Trevor sleeps for 12. Now, during one of the times in which he lives alone after his family moves out, one of the switch scenes will show him waking up screaming and pointing a gun around. So this might indicate that he possibly suffers from nightmares, which could explain why his short sleeping time is compared to Trevor and Franklin. That's something very interesting. Remember, Michael went to prison as well, so that might have something to do with the fact why he's having nightmares, but it also could indicate the fact why he only sleeps for 6 hours. There's also a pretty cool Easter egg that I discovered while recording this footage. So upon returning to his house, one of the possible lines of dialogue for Michael to shout is "Daddy's back, bitches," which is also the first line of dialogue that can be heard in Grand Theft Auto 4 when Nico Bellic is on the ship entering Liberty City, which I actually think is really cool. Another awesome reference to a previous GTA game and another Rockstar title as well. That isn't the only other Easter egg though. So sometimes when switching to Michael, he can be seen walking past a prostitute who asks for his business. Now, Michael will sometimes say, "No thanks, I'm a married man," or "No pros for me." This is very reminiscent of John Marston, who also replies negatively to any prostitutes in saloon he visits, stating that he is a married man. So now let's move on to Amanda. So one of the most interesting things you can see when switching back to Michael is you'll walk in on Amanda in their bedroom, and let's just say she's having a good time with herself. Now, if Michael enters the room, what she'll do is she'll freak out, she'll kind of throw away the object she was using for, and she'll say that she thought the door was locked and then will try to go to sleep. However, if you do the same thing as Trevor or Franklin and you sneak into the house and catch her on the act, you can continue to see her doing whatever she was doing. So maybe it's because Michael entered the room that she stops, or maybe it's because of the fact that Rockstar never really programmed Trevor Franklin to enter. But I still think that's interesting. When the husband enters, she stops. When someone like Trevor Franklin enters, she keeps going. So we know throughout the events of the campaign, Amanda has affairs with quite a number of people, but you just might not know how long that list goes. I'm going to read it off right now. So you clearly know Fabian LaRouche, another individual Kyle Chavis, Jimmy's third grade teacher, a juice seller, a dog walker, their gardener Carlos, a garbage collector, Michael's proctologist, a Jesus Christ impersonator, and a homeless doomsday hippie. Those are all people that Amanda has had affairs with in Grand Theft Auto 5. That is absolutely insane. I mean, that is a lot of people, and we only have experienced, I think, 2 throughout the events of the campaign. Also, speaking of Amanda, she is the only female character who can be taken out on friendship activities, which I didn't even know was a thing, and she's also the first and only wife to a protagonist in the GTA series, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. Now, also, during an activity with Michael, Amanda will mention that her mother was right about him. Now, when she says that, Michael will retort with saying Amanda's mother put her daughters on stage at a strip joint and was basically a pimp. So Amanda was one of many daughters that was forced to become a stripper, and we obviously know that's how Michael met Amanda, and then the story pretty much continues out from there. Let's move on to Tracy DeSanta. One of the most interesting things that can happen is if the player calls Tracy after the mission Fame or Shame, her voicemail message will refer to herself as Tracy Sucks, with 3 X's, and mention that she works as a phone sex service via webcam. Now, the name Sucks is a Vice City reference to Candy Sucks from GTA Vice City, and this is pretty crazy. So that's a pretty cool reference to GTA Vice City right there. Now, it can also be assumed that she live streams herself doing various adult activities while her parents are out, sometimes even inviting viewers over to have sex with her on camera. And Michael's dialogue during the mission Doting Dad, which is what we're in right now, seems that he is unaware of this happening. Now, to follow up on this, after completing the mission Daddy's Little Girl, it's possible that you can find Tracy in her bedroom doorway with a young man. Now, what will happen is she will slam the door on Michael and he'll be locked out of the room, after which you can hear some very interesting and suggestive sounds that indicates she's doing exactly what Michael thought in the room, possibly the live streams or possibly even something worse. So we all knew Tracy was a little bit interesting, especially after she was found on that porn yacht, but nonetheless, still some very interesting things about her past that you probably didn't end up knowing that she did. Something else you probably didn't know about Tracy is that she smokes as well. So if the bathroom is locked in Michael's house, using a tall vehicle to see inside the bathroom window from outside reveals that Tracy is indeed a smoker. And in one of Michael's character switch scenes, he'll give Tracy some money and she'll leave Michael's car and proceed to walk down the street, where he'll eventually stop and she'll start smoking as well. And last but not least about Tracy, it's actually interesting. She's the only character to mention one of the protagonist's special abilities. She indicates during the mission Daddy's Little Girl when she yells that people are chasing her, sometimes saying, "My dad never misses," referring to the fact that Michael's special ability helps with accuracy. So I thought that was very interesting. I don't know if that was like a direct reference to his slow down time feature, or if she just knows that her dad's a good shot. But regardless, I thought that was pretty cool. All right, and finally, last but not least, we've got Jimmy DeSanta. We know Jimmy doesn't have a job. He sits in his room, plays video games all day. Well, after the mission reuniting the family, Jimmy can be seen in the living room of Michael's house, creating a resume for his job. And at times he'll say, "Should I put my KD ratio on my resume?" That's pretty funny. KD ratio obviously stands for kill death, and I think that's pretty funny. As a video game player myself, I totally get that reference, but it's also interesting, just like that's one of the only skills Jimmy has, is that he's probably got a good KD ratio in whatever game that is. Also, speaking of games, Jimmy is unique in that he is the only character that all 3 protagonists can hang out with on friendship activities. And speaking of those friendship activities, while all 3 of them can hang out for social activities, Franklin is the only protagonist who will take Jimmy drinking. Jimmy will suggest drinking while out with Trevor or Michael as they approach a bar, but the idea will be rejected due to Jimmy being underage. And this is obviously the fact that Michael is probably his father, doesn't want him underage drinking, and Trevor is kind of his uncle, probably doesn't want him underage drinking as well, but Franklin has really no connection to Jimmy, so that's probably why he has no problem taking him to a bar or something like that. And finally, last but not least today regarding Jimmy, it seems as if Franklin might have actually saved his life. So on one of the times they're hanging out, Jimmy actually requests to go to Davis and to shoot some ballas before yelling families for life, while Franklin tells him he better just knock him out to save him from himself because shouting families for life will cause controversy, especially for him, kind of indicating the fact that he probably would have been killed himself for doing that in Ballas territory. So we have Franklin to thank for saving Jimmy and probably doing one of the most stupidest things he possibly could have done of all time. But anyways, that's all the information that I have for you guys in this video today regarding some of the craziest and creepiest secrets, mysteries, and things you didn't know regarding the DeSanta family, Michael, Amanda, Jimmy, and Tracy. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Who's the creepiest or darkest out of all these characters? I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.